Good morning, boys and girls. How is your world today? Let's see what Steve-O's got in this box here. She's laying this up really nice, guys. Really nice. See if I can find her. There she is. That big old Martin Queen. She's laying good too. This is one of the virgins that I put in. Martin did a 44 grafts, and we had successful 40 out of 44 hits. And there she is. There's the result. This hive is, she's just started laying good. I've got a customer. I have a customer that needs 2 more boxes. So we will fix him up. And this will be one of them. This time of year, I've got to keep feed on them because there's not a lot coming in, guys. So I'm going to keep feed on them, keep them pumped up, keep buying that expensive Joe's sugar. I got to go through all these girls here and see who's queenless, who isn't. If I have a queen right and I have a die out, I'll stack a super on top, just a plain box on top, the ones that didn't make it, and transfer all those bees over on top of that. So that's what I'll do. So we're going to put cell on this one. Actually, it's already got cell on it. I've already indicated cell on it. So yeah, I'll put a check mark on here and put cell. Now granted, this box needs to be filled out a little bit. I've just told the customer the box has got a brand new queen and it's got two frames. They're just getting on these frames. So we're talking a month here. This thing's going to be blown out. And you'll be able to transfer it over to 10 frame equipment. Let me keep moving down the line here, see what else I can find. Got to show you my little turkey hunting chair. What is it today? What is this little chair today, guys? Ah, a nice comfortable nuke chair. When you have a 74-year-old back that's been blown, yeah, that you've got to go to the gym every day and walk a mile to keep it maintained, get you a little turkey hunter's chair. So you're not bending over and checking these nukes. You can just sit down and work your nukes at a comfortable pace, you know, and that's the way we'll do her. Here's the new queen here, guys. She's really dark. She's just getting started. They're taking good care of her. There's one of your baby girls, Martin. She's just wandering around, doing fine. She's just starting to lay. They've got plenty of room to work, guys. No problem with that. So as I go, I'm not going to do anything as far as selling this thing, but what we'll do here, what I'll do here as I go along is find them, and we just put queen right on there. We'll come back in a couple weeks to see how she's doing, you know, evaluate her. She may make it fine, she may not, we don't know. Let's see how her pattern's doing. Depends on how well they get mated, guys. Once they get going, a queen, if she's worth her salt, she can lay up 2,000 eggs a day. 1,500, 2,000 eggs per day. That's a lot of squats, you know. So after a while, you'll see their pattern, see how they're doing. But that's what, and you know, their mating flights. Once you install these virgins, they're only like a day old. I mean, maybe 2 days maximum before I get in a box. I don't like fooling around. As soon as they hatch, and it's a good idea when you guys start making queens. As soon as they're capped, handle those. Once them bees cap them, okay, they're sealed up. They've got all the food that builder, hive self-starter, builder, finisher can put in that cell. They've completed it. The mission's over. So it's just sitting there, 5-6 days, it's sealed. Go in there and handle that frame like you're handling nitroglycerin, okay? Because if you jar that thing, you can damage her in there. She'll fall the larva will fall out of the royal jelly, and then she's going to get crippled, or she's not going to be any good. So get them very carefully into your incubator. And then I myself, I let them hatch in the incubator. I keep an eye on them. I go out every day, play peekaboo when it gets real close. Every day. Sometimes they'll hatch 2 days ahead of time, depending on the size of the larva that you grabbed it. So be vigilant and get her that cell out of there. Now, you watched me on the last video digging out the cell out of those mini cages, California mini cages. I inserted that cell directly into that mini cage, and I won't do that anymore. And here's why. What happens, it's a fairly snug fit as you're pushing it into that cell into the California mini cage. Them California mini cages, I love them because they've got a flat bottom on them. And I can slide them right into a little specialized frame that I make. And I got a couple strands of 30-pound mono across there horizontally to keep them in place, right? Well, you push that cell down in there, it's snug. All right, now she hatches. There's still royal jelly up in there. She has done a somersault in there when she's getting ready to come out of there, and she shoots a little trap door out of that thing and comes on out of there. She'll flip around. A lot of times she's hungry. She'll flip around, and there's more royal jelly up in there. If you've done this cell builder correctly, like Martin does, it's all a matter of getting things set up. Maybe I can get with Martin one day and we can do a video. I know there's questions out there you guys have been asking me. how to do this, you know, the grafting, the whole grafting thing. I personally am not a fan of grafting because it's a lot of manipulations, and I'm a lazy beekeeper, let's face it, okay? All right, I much rather buy my cells from Martin, and once you see what he's producing, you too will want Martin cells, okay? And he may or may not kick this up a notch. He may get industrial strength on this. He's basically retired like I am, so I don't know how industrial strength he'll get at this, but regardless, what I'm getting at here, let me back up. I drifted off, sorry. When you get old, you drift off. Anyway, but don't get like Joe, because Joe's eating too much sugar and ice cream. All right, enough said on that. Take a cell protector, guys. Take a cell protector and put that cell into a cell protector. Now slide that nozzle, that cone-shaped nozzle of the cell protector inside the mini California and set that in the incubator. And what's the beauty of that too is you can come up with your little pin light and go down through there, and you can see if that little hatch door is open. And you can see up in there easily. It's hard to see when you're stuffed in a mini cage. I mean, granted, you can lift the frame up, tilt it and all. What happens, they go back up in there to get that royal jelly, and then they get their butt stuck in there. A lot of times. Sometimes they wiggle their butt back out of there and go down in the cage. All right? But because you put it in the cell protector, then she'll hatch, then she'll go down and check out the cage, she'll come back up in there. Let me let this Huey helicopter get by. Let me salute the boys. All right. Go get them, boys. Now, what happens if you just shove the cell into the mini cage? Now, you've got to get that cell out of there, okay, and make sure she gets out of there. And I had to save, I'll bet you there was 10 queens that would have died on this last round if I hadn't have gone in there and babysitted those real regularly. And I had to dig some out, and some of them were on almost, you know, they were a little shaky and wandering around. They were hungry. So I got them out of there and coaxed them back into the cage. They were a little weak, but I got food into them, and they revived, and now they're kicking ass and taking names. So don't shove those cells into a mini cage. Get you some cell protectors and put that, it fits perfectly, that nozzle will go right in California. Put your cell in there, let her hatch, but keep an eye on it. When she hatches, pull her out. She'll be, a lot of times her head will be up in there, she'll be gobbling up royal jelly. Carefully peel off that and get her out of there. Get a hold of her gently, grab her by the thorax gently, or you can catch her by the wings. I like to just get them kind of by the thorax, and I pick her up and let her go down in the cage. Then I put my thumb over the cage hole. Then I rip off the existing cell, queen cell, what's left of it. They're pretty leathery. Tear that off. Look in there. You're going to use that cell as a plug that goes in your it'll fit right in there. And now that it's had a little bit of wax around it, it even makes a better fit. It slides in there nice and snug into that. So do that, and you won't have any problems. Keep a sharp instrument. I used a, I had to go in there, I had a dental, like a plaque remover scraper thing, had a little hook on it. You can get them at any of your grocery stores by the toothbrushes, and I used that as a hook to hook out that cell, because they snap off. They break off right there, and so you got to get that out of there, because she's got to come out of that hole for you to introduce into these colonies, and you're not going to be able to do that with that stupid cell still stuck in there. So you got to get that out. But you will eliminate all that issue by dropping your cells into a cell protector. Those are those orange ones. They look like a little basket, and they're cone shaped. All right, get you some of those. All right, let me keep moving down the line. I thought I'd show you my turkey chair. and touch base a little bit on that. The queens, yeah, these queens, they'll go out. They'll sometimes go out 6 miles and mate. Sometimes it's just a half a mile, depending on where the drone cluster is. That's where they're going to go, and she may make several trips. She may make up to 5 trips. She may mate with 12 to 15 drones. And the more she can mate, the more sperm load she'll have. And she's only getting mated once in life, guys. That's it. So the more the merrier. And she'll hold that sperm for the rest of her life. Now, I like to change these queens out annually. Most of the queens that go through a second year are swarmy. They get swarmy, and they're professional egg layers now. They can go. I've heard queens can go up to 8 years, but I think that's totally nuts. I think maybe 5 is the longevity max on them, but you know, who knows? They say they can go to 8. I find that hard to believe. But I personally like to get all these old queens out of here, and they're perfectly fine to sell to a customer. They will do an excellent job, but that customer needs to understand they need to be building a lot of these boxes and have them on standby and keep queens cooking. If you plan on keeping 2 or 3 beehives in your yard, most places the inspectors will let you have, even residential areas, up to 5 hives. You can double that in the spring, okay? Because this is considered a hive right here. This is considered a hive. Even though, you know, you could have a 10 framer sitting right next to it, blowed out, double stacked with a bunch of supers on it. That's one hive. So you can have 5 of those, but in the spring you could make up 5 more of these nukes, and it'd be so easy to do. That way you can rotate out your queens. If she starts to falter the slightest little bit, hey, go in there, pinch her, wait a couple days, let them start building cells in there. If you've got a nice nuke here, a really hot looking nuke, laying great, you can go right back into that hive after 5 days and smash all those queen cells that they've reproduced from your old queen. And if you wanted to, you could just let them have at it, and they'll reproduce another queen in there. It'll just be like a 10-frame nuke box, basically. You can let them raise their own queen, or you can smash those cells, wait a day, and then, whew, that smoker's getting... Why do smokers always chase you? You ever notice that, guys? You set a smoker down, the smoke comes right to you. It has a mind of its own. But anyway, you can do it that way. You can take that nuke, move those frames aside, and take all those frames and just set it right down in the center of that hive. Take your box, keep a frame or 2 of eggs and a little resources stolen from the 10 framer, say, put it in. If you're in the same yard, you can plug the entrance, make sure they get a screen bottom so they can breathe nice, leave them set. On the 3rd morning, come out, open that door. Now that's their home. They don't know any other home, but that's their home. So now you've got another colony going, and you got your hive replaced. And when you get too many of those nukes cooking, you put an ad out and sell your nuke for whatever price you want. Okay, I personally sell my hives for $120. That is with you return the box, you get $20 back. So it's a $100 nuke, and that nuke is the cheapest in the USA, by the way. Now, I'm not here to piss off other beekeepers that are in the nuke business, because I don't sell enough of these things to put a hurt on no one, okay? But my mission is to try to get more beekeepers involved in bees. And most of the fellas, young guys starting out, they don't have a lot of money, okay? And they're not going to drop $250 or whatever these crazy numbers these guys are getting for beehives, they'll say, oh, I think I need to go find me a cheaper hobby, maybe like collecting stamps or coins or something. Yeah. So anyway, that's my little spin on it. I don't plan on changing my, I don't know if I'll ever change my prices on bees. I don't know. I know the cost of sugar and everything is going up crazy, but I think eventually things will get mellowed out once the people finally have had enough and grab these people that are in charge now and then literally drag them into the street and tar and feather them, okay? That could happen. It's happened in the past, okay? But we don't know right now. Even their own security team, if it gets too nuts, could turn on them, okay? I'm just saying. It's possible. All right, let's keep going. We're at 100% right now. I just checked 2 colonies, guys. We're at 100%. Don't you just love it? Okay, guys, there's a big old pretty Martin Queen running right there. She has not gotten into any serious egg laying yet. It's early yet. Good looking queen. So we are now at 3 for 3. Yeah. I knew this box was queen right when I first opened it up, guys, because they're just chilling out. Nothing I want to sell yet. So we'll just stick her back together, bringing in lots of nectar. They're bringing lots of nectar because I'm putting that jar on them. I'm pumping them up. But this is the thing to do, guys. Pump up these bees, especially these little starter hives. Get some sugar water on them. Keep them fed. Keep these baby girls fed. Hell yeah. So we will put a queen right on the lid here. Get you one of these little pin lights from Harbor Freight. I was looking at that video yesterday, that hole saw in those hardy board lids. I forgot to mention where I got that hole saw. That was at Harbor Freight also. Because I went to Lowe's and I would have been up to almost, yeah, $45, almost 50 bucks in a whole setup. Then I bought that whole set for $34 Harbor Freight. Yeah. Keep that in mind. Harbor Freight needs to start sending me some benefits or something, you know, the way I advertise. All right, we'll put here queen right. I just put queen right. The ones I want to sell, I'll put sell on them. These aren't ready for sale. They haven't fattened up the outside frames, but a couple weeks. I keep feeding them. You go, girl. These girls are going to be fattened up. Now I've got a little old medium over here. It had a lot of resources on it. And so anyway, that's just basically made for making queens. I don't sell anything in medium. But I've got some of these boxes I throw on, and sometimes they slam them full of resources. So you hate to, you know, get rid of those resources. Just stick it out and make a queen with it, or stick it on top of a hive. you've got a lot of resource, you need to clean it out so you can make honey out of it. Make a honey production box out of it, whatever. Put an excluder downstairs, make sure she's not up there. Put an excluder downstairs and put that on top, and then all that brood that's in there will hatch out, and they're going to backfill it with you know, they're going to backfill it with syrup. They're going to backfill it with honey for you. This little medium right here, it had a when I was making up nukes, this was on top of a deep frame box, and it had a nice fat queen cell on it, swarm cell, and I put it in here, and this box does not come. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm just going to write no queen on it, so I know I can come back here and check it and see what's happening here in a week or so. Maybe she's out on a mating flight, who knows, but so we want to keep an eye on this one for the simple fact we don't need to be feeding a bunch of wax moths, because that's what will happen. They'll get in here and start laying it up. What you can do here, this isn't even screwed to this bottom. This is a screen bottom on here, but it's just sitting on there. I have quite a few of those, to where I could take a situation like this and just throw this screen bottom down on and throw either a large box or a medium on it, and instantly make a nuke out of it. So that's what we've done. The bees are a little runny in here. They're not pissy. Most of the time when they don't have a queen, they're pretty pissy, but all three of these hives here that we just checked, they were all laid back. You can tell as soon as you open the box up, the bees chilling. If the bees are chilling, you more than likely have a queen in there. So if they're ornery, they're real runny, chances are you don't have one. These are a little bit runny, but not bad. But I don't think there's a queen here. But I'm going to leave it for another week, and we'll come back and check it. Alrighty, check this one, guys. She's laying good in here. She's a little bit on the pissy side, though. Before I put this queen in here, this hive was pissy, okay? So we eliminated that queen, but all of her old offspring are in here. All of her the old sisters are in here, and they're pissy, okay? Not super bad, but anyway. Here, queen right, I put cell on it. Another one of Martin's queen. Okay, guys, working her way down the end. There's another one. She made it. She's backfilling. She's laying. She just started laying. These virgins, I don't know. I don't remember the date that I installed these. Guys might want to go back and look at the dates that I installed them. I don't remember. But just, you know, quick, easy reference. Just have a magic marker and mark the top. She's not ready to sell. I mean, you got 3 frames. I like to make them up with 3 frames of resources and a plane on the outsides. You know, you can get skinnier than that. You can even do it in 2 framers, but at least when they start filling out the outside frames, you can sell them, you know. So I got a customer needing bees, and I'm just going to tell him if he wants a fatter colony, he's going to have to wait 2 weeks, or he can take these. The price is going to be the same, I can tell you that. But brand new queen, she's laying up good. What do we got in this hole here? We got quite a few bees here. Quite a few bees here, guys. Let's get in here and see what we got. Alright, guys, in this scenario here's an old homemade drone frame. I put just a piece of plasticell at the top with a little divider strip, and then I put a hemp string in there along the top and waxed it, stapled it in, a little hemp string. And what they'll do there in this open hole, as you can see, they make drone comb. But they decided they wanted a queen in the middle, so there's a queen cell. And I installed a virgin in here. There's no eggs in here yet. There's cells on that other frame right there. So they've already just made up their mind. We're not accepting your virgin. So they obviously killed her, and they made, or she that or possibly that virgin. It couldn't have been. I was thinking that she may have laid eggs and they made cells, but that's impossible because on the other frame there's some on this one too. There's some cells here. There's some queen cells that are opened up. There's another ripe queen cell there. There's another one that's ripped open. There may be a virgin running around in here, and they said, no, we don't want your virgin, Steve-O, and they may have killed her. So, I'm phasing these out too, by the way, these drone things. This is something I did these have been floating around for about 2 years in here, and unnecessary. It was just an experiment I'm trying, and it seems like they do what they were saying. They'll make drone comb and all that, but I think they make enough drones anyway. So all I'm going to do is just put queen cells. I'm going to put no queen for now and queen cells, and I'll leave this thing alone for at least 2 more weeks. Then we'll play peekaboo and see what we have in here, and then determine then, because by then, if you don't have queen action going on in here, you better get this stuff in another, say a super, and utilize this equipment, and you're going to have wax moth problems. Haven't hardly seen any beetles at all. I only did 1 round of amatraz on these things, and I must have knocked down the mites pretty good, because I'm not seeing any African hive beetles. Usually if you really get infested with varroa, the hive beetles come in right behind them, so keep an eye on that. And if you either do an alcohol wash if you see a lot of hive beetles, because you probably ate up with varroa mites. Nice big Carnolian queen running around here. She's a little shy. She's running like crazy from me. She hasn't gotten into serious egg laying yet here. I'm going to leave her alone. The bees are a little nervous. They're a little nervous with their new girl. She's a big one though. She's big and pretty. So I'm going to leave. They got plenty of room to expand here. So keep the feed on them and come back in 2 weeks. Alrighty, got last hive on this run. Excellent queen. Excellent queen. They're filling out. This is actually, I put queen right cell. This girl is doing fantastic. She is back filling. They're just getting started. They're just getting started here, laying good. These others that I've got queen right on will be fattening up another 2 weeks. So yeah. I put on that one no queen, NOQ, and cells, and I'm check on 420. I won't go back in there at 420. If nothing's going on in 420, break it apart and get it on something else. Get this equipment on bees to keep it clean, keep the hive beetles out, keep the wax moths out and all. But yeah. So this hive's doing very well. All of these Martin queens are doing excellent. I've had very good luck with Martin queens, and I'm hoping that he gets into a fairly serious queen operation, because I will be buying his queens. So, and he'll be able to ship queens too if he decides to do it. Problem you can get into is places to put mated queens, you know, Bach mating colonies. Now I could accommodate him a little bit here, but I'm sure we could find some I thought I had a queen walking around on my veil. It was just a worker. Yeah, so I'm gonna give, well, Martin will see this video and see what I've got going on here, but I'll give him a heads up today before I put the video out and tell him what I've got going on here, and try to encourage him to keep on trucking on. So I will see you guys soon, and get out there and work them bees and be happy. See ya. Okay guys, I wanted to add on one more little trick that old Steve-O's been doing here lately, and it's working out fantastic. This product right here, you can get it online, you can get it on Amazon, or you can get it at Man Lake. Honey Bandit. It smells good. Bees run like crazy from it. Yeah, what you do if you're working 10 frame equipment, you take a lid, whatever, and put a first strip around on it like that. I got a little 3/4 strip on this one, and here, and you know, it came out, the whole thing came out, you know, perfect. Oh yeah, I thought I'd throw that in for a little comedy act there, because I get these t-shirts at One Blood. I donate every month. You know, I'm over 7 gallons now, guys. 7 flipping gallons. But anyway, here's what I'm using it for. I tore up my extra t-shirt. You see, I brought it all the way out to the edges, right? I didn't glue it. I screwed it on, as you can see, and I pilot drilled it. But I just stretched the t-shirt on, and I went around with the T50 stapler, right? Now I've got a nice stretch fabric here. And then I clamped these on, and I pre-drilled it and sunk in some screws. Now I have a fume board. Now I take my wonderful product. You don't need a lot of this. I just put squirt. You can see actually the squirts I did on there. And here in this situation, aren't you getting tired of looking for queens? Don't we have more things, better things to do? Like maybe take Miss Daisy out for dinner or something, you know, instead of out here digging through beehives forever, looking for these needle in a haystack queens you can't find. Guess what? Use the Steve-O fume board and the Honey Bandit, all right? And she had eggs top and bottom here. I don't know where in the heck she's at, okay? She's laying up a storm. God bless her, right? But I'm not hunting for her. I want her downstairs. I'm leaving these resources up here, right? So I chased everybody downstairs. Now don't get nuts with this board. When you put this thing on, by the way, don't just slap it on tight, snuggy, yuppie. No, cock it like this so they have ways to get out. And once you see board, you'll hear them roaring. They're getting the hell out of there. I mean, they're leaving this stuff. They're going downstairs. When they do that, turn it a little bit right on. Lock it up solid. That'll push them down. You can push every bee in this hive out of here if you keep fooling around too much with the fume board. Now be careful with this thing. So just spot check it. Come over here, pop the lid, pop the fume board off, pull a few frames. If they're out of there, that thing's cleared out and they're all pushed downstairs, hunky-dory. Flip it aside, right? Grab your queen excluder. I got a plastic one cut to size on this 5-framer, but normally I leave them full size in case I ever want to put them on a full-size hive. Don't need to butcher them, but I did this one because it was on a queen cell builder. And that's why that's cut down. So it was handy. I grabbed it, threw it on there. Now she's trapped downstairs. She is going to run like crazy from this bandit too. She is not going to stick around and get gassed with that stuff. Now I have everybody downstairs. Now I have all these resources up here. I'm going to leave this hive for about 4 days. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to peek in here and see if there's queen cells in here. If there's queen cells in there, I'm going to set it up as a walk-away split. And any other resources that are in there, I think there's a couple light frames down here. I will steal those and put them downstairs, and then I'll put a for sale sign on that hive. Now I have another hive that's going to be in 30 days cranked back up again. What do you think of that movie? And that's the way we're going to roll every spring. February, these things can be as many as 4 stacked high. By the time I get done with Brazilian pepper flow, these puppies could be 4 high. I've had some as high as 5, but normally they don't blow them out 5. That'll be equivalent to, you know, 4 of them is equivalent to 20 frames. That's two 10 frames stacked up. So you have a lot of resources there. So in the spring, when you're ready to sell nukes, last year's nuke, queens, you can drive everybody downstairs, get that queen excluder in there, and or drive everybody downstairs, leave enough resources up here, right? Come back in 24 hours after you put your excluder in. They've migrated back into those resources up here. Then you come back and you steal that whole thing, move it off to another location, or better yet, have it dropped into another box. I have, say, one there. Drop it into another rig with a bottom set up on its screen. Drop this top to the bottom, take that bottom portion with your queen in it, plug it, move it off, drop this one down here, and let them raise their own queen. You'll have all that field force coming back into that hive, and I'm telling you what, they will feed that cell down there just as if you were setting up a cell builder to start producing queens, making a queen starter box. You will have tons of bees downstairs. You move this off, right, down to the bottom, put a bottom board on it, move this paycheck, I call it a paycheck, move your paycheck over, plug the entrance, and call your customer. Just thought I'd add that one on the end of this video, what I'm doing with Honey Bandit. See ya.